Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Divyapreet. In this video, we'll be discussing how to study a subject from the mains perspective. Whether you are preparing for mains 2025 or mains 2026, this video will be helpful for you to streamline your preparation and understand as to how do you have to actually study a subject when it comes to the mains. So for this, our guiding light will be the syllabus and PYQs. The good thing about mains is that UPSC itself has provided a detailed syllabus for the mains. Our job then becomes to align the PYQs with the mains syllabus and understand how exactly UPSC wants us to go about the subject. So here I have the UPSC syllabus with me, and if you look at the GS paper 1, with respect to the Indian heritage and culture part, it says Indian culture will cover the salient aspects of art forms, literature, and architecture from ancient to modern times. So, this is what the syllabus says with respect to the ancient medieval art and culture part of GS paper 1. So, how do we use this? Let us see. So when it comes to art and culture, we saw this is what the syllabus says. So I will divide this into the micro themes that it is talking about. So art forms, then comes literature, then comes architecture, and further I can also talk about culture in this section. There will also be sculptures. So I can basically divide this syllabus into some smaller themes. The next thing that I would want to do is understand how PYQs are being asked from this. So let us take a look at the mains paper of 2024, GS paper 1. So if you see, the first question here talks about underline the challenges in the field of society and economy from Rigvedic times to later Vedic times. So this is the question which has been asked from the first part of the syllabus. What we are going to do is we will pick up this question, understand the demand. So it is basically asking that society and economy from Rigvedic to later Vedic times. So this particularly is a question from the culture part of it. So I'll enter this question over here, saying society and economy from Rigvedic to later Vedic times. So this then gives me an idea of what the demand of the question was. Similarly, we are going to look at the other questions. It says estimate the contribution of Pallavas of Kanchi for development of art and literature of South India. So again, this question is from art and literature about Pallavas of Kanchi. So let me just mention the question here. It's talking about contributions. Sorry. So it is talking about contributions of Pallavas in art and literature. So this is the gist of the question. Again, 2024 question. Similarly, we are going to do this process for um, previous 10 years roughly, and or maybe up till 2013 it is enough. So what we'll get is a breakdown of the PYQs with respect to the syllabus topics. So here we have the questions from architecture, literature, art, culture, sculpture, and some other miscellaneous topics that might have been asked. So if you look at this questions now, read this question. It talks about great Cholas, their achievements in art and architecture. This was a 2024 question. So when you look at these questions, you understand that okay, questions based on art and architecture with respect to kingdoms and their contribution towards it is a prominent feature. So here great Cholas have been asked. Then you see Pallavas of Kanchi towards art and architecture have been asked. Similarly, if you see, the next theme would be rock cut architecture. So in architecture, you not only need to know temple architecture but also rock cut architecture, whatever has been. And if you look at this question about great Cholas, their achievements in art and architecture, there was a 2013 question which was on the same lines. It said Chola architecture represents a high watermark in evolution of temple architecture. So someone who has gone through the PYQs, have thought about it, or um, based their preparation on PYQs, would have been able to answer this 2024 question. So our understanding then becomes that we need to study the kingdoms and their contributions towards art, architecture, literature very well. So again, if you see, with respect to literature, Bhakti literature, it becomes important. Persian literary sources and how they reflect India. Similarly, Chinese and Arab travelers have been asked. So Chinese travelers like, Fahim, Hyun Sang, all of these people, and what they talked about the history of India. So what we understand through this part is that foreign travelers, their contribution towards Indian culture, history, whatever literary sources, prominent literary sources there were in Indian ancient and medieval times. So that kind of angle we need to find while studying the subject. So similarly, if you look at this from the culture part of it, 2024 question, as we discussed, society and economy from Rig Vedic to later Vedic times. A similar question was asked in the year 2023, and it said, what were the main features of Vedic society and religion? So again, you see that there is a phase in the timeline, there is a phase of Vedic times in the chronology of ancient India, and in that Vedic period, what the society was, what the economy was, what the religion they were following, all of that becomes important when it comes to means. So that is how we would want to study the subject. Similarly, if you see, it has also asked main contributions of Gupta period and Chola period. So once you have understood that, you know that whenever you are studying a kingdom, a phase like the Gupta period, the Chola period, the Pallava period, Palas, you need to know what their contribution towards art, architecture, literature, culture was. So this is how you can actually analyze PYQs and understand what UPSC usually asks questions like. So if you see, these questions are not very pinpointed and based on one specific thing. It leaves a wide range for you to analyze, for you to present your ideas. So this is what we get the. And now if we want to see how to actually study or make notes from this particular thing, so let us look into this question. It talks about level of excellence of the Gupta numismatic art is not at all noticeable in later times. So we understand that we need to know the coins, the currency part throughout ancient medieval times. So if we are talking about Gupta numismatic art specifically, so how can we actually prepare that topic? So if you look, this is what we wish to study, the numismatic art. And because we understand from the question that the question wants us to compare the Gupta times to the later times, so we understand that we need, if it will be better for us to prepare this topic in a phase wise manner. So we could talk about how uh, the numismatic art was during IVC, during Mahajanpadas, then the Mauryas, post Mauryas, Gupta, post-Gupta and Delhi Sultanate. So we'll have a chronological manner to our preparation, and we would be easily able to compare how one varied from the other. So if you prepare your notes in this format, you will easily be able to understand how things changed over time. So during IVC, seals. We had seals made of steatite. So they were not exactly coins, or it was not exactly currency, but that was used but there was more of a barter system. So yeah, again in Mahajanpadas and Mauryas, there was punch marked coins. They were made mostly of silver, copper, and some symbols were also there: sun, tree, bull, mostly related to the natural elements. Then when it comes to the post-Mauryans, you will find Indo-Greek coins and Kushan gold coins. So gold coins enter the sphere in post-Mauryan phase. So now when you come to the Guptas, this is actually the golden age for numismatic art. And in general also for culture, it is considered the golden age. So when it comes to Guptas, we find intricate details. There would be images of gods and rulers. They would be shown doing activities, for example the Ashwamedha, or hunting images. All of those kinds of things are shown in the Gupta coinage. So that makes it very detailed. And so also it had inscriptions in Sanskrit. The language was Sanskrit, but it was written in the Brahmi script. So now you can easily see how different these were from the earlier coins and those which are going to come later. So in post Guptas, you will find designs were simpler. In the Chola phase, there was religious symbols associated to it, and there were not much intricate details on these coins. And in Pala you will find bronze coins. So in such a manner, becomes easier for you to compare and retain all of this information, and even present it when it comes to the mains examination. So once you correlate the syllabus with the PYQs and understand what is the demand from PYQs, you will be able to make better notes. You will be able to prepare a subject better from the mains point of view. So all the very best, and I'll see you in the next one.